Good evening and welcome to Talking Points. Continuing our coverage of the China flooding catastrophe, or what Chinese authorities call a once-in-5,000 years flood. It happened in Zhengzhou City of Henan Province. Of course, this is a big exaggeration to shift all the blame to Mother Nature. In 1975, in fact, a much bigger flood took place in the same province. What is already a devastating situation for the victims of natural disaster might be magnified by the mishandling of the crisis by the local officials. From a subway line full of people almost drowning to now a highway tunnel spanning almost 2 miles being fully submerged in water. The total death count from the flooding in Zhengzhou City is likely much higher than the official number. In 2018, the city of Zhengzhou, where the deadly flood is happening, pledged 53.4 billion Chinese yuan, or $8.25 billion to create a flood sponge, aka a system of flood drainage so powerful it technically should fight off, quote, a once-in-200 years flood. So by using the excuse of a once-in-5,000 years, it's trying to take any blame away from the officials and take any discussion of man-made disaster out of the question. Let's just compare the more severe flooding in 1975 in the same province to what happened just a few days ago. According to the official records of the CCP, from August 4th to 8th of 1975, the rainfall at the center of the storm amounted to 1,631 millimeters, while the maximum rainfall in the 3 days from the 5th to the 7th was 1,605.3 millimeters. At the time, Lingzhuang, which was the location of the center of the storm at Panzhou Reservoir, recorded a maximum rainfall of 830 millimeters in 6 hours, which exceeded the previous world record of 782 millimeters in Mischief Harbor, Pennsylvania. And the maximum 24-hour rainfall recorded at that time was 1,060 millimeters, which also set the highest record of similar indicators in China. Let's compare it to this Zhengzhou rainstorm that just happened. From 8 p.m. on the 19th to 8 p.m. on the 20th, the 24-hour single-day rainfall was 552.5 millimeters, which is only about half of that of the 1975 rainstorm. From 8 p.m. on the 17th to 8 p.m. on the 20th, the 3-day rainfall was 617.1 millimeters, only half of the 1975 rainstorm, and so just from numbers alone, the flooding this time is probably less likely to be natural and more to do with man-made situations. Not to mention, calling it a once-in-5,000 years is probably a big stretch, bigger than the biblical worldwide flood. It's a big lie. Today, the big focus is on the flooded highway tunnel system. The highway tunnels called Jingguan Expressway North and South are becoming the center of attention. On July 20th at 9 a.m. local time, a state media reporter is explaining the situation with temporary water pooling inside a portion of the tunnel. This tunnel is supposed to be closed at that point. But according to this driver, he was driving toward the tunnel, the entrance of it, at around 4 p.m. It was already jammed with cars, so we don't know if the tunnels were actually closed or not. The video we're about to see here, keep in mind, unverified, claims to be filmed inside the tunnel before the heavy water flooded in. And in a separate video, we can see that the same tunnel, and this man is walking against the water trying to escape the flooding tunnel. And according to Google Maps, it has a south and a north tunnel portion. In the middle of it is the expressway. The north portion is about 1.1 miles. The south portion of the tunnel is about 0.99 miles. Or, as well, it is also known to be very busy during rush hours. Traffic jam is very common. By the afternoon of July 20th, the tunnels are already filled with flood water completely to the top. This is likely due to the emptying of a nearby reservoir. Now, reservoirs are used to store water used by the dams to generate electricity around the city. But the local officials issued the notice at 1 a.m. on July 20th that they were going to dump the reserve water into the rivers nearby. This may have led to the sudden increase in the water levels in the rivers and then sudden flooding. Many reported a sudden increase in water level in the city, combined with the torrential rainfall, leading to a big disaster. But much of the mystery still surrounds why the officials decided to do the water dumping on the same day as the heavy rainfall. Maybe there's water science we don't know. But it seems the city is not adequately prepared for that. The subway system, the above-ground buses, and tunnels are still operating. By the afternoon, when the flood situation worsened at rush hour, That is when this tunnel started to fill up. It also coincided with rush hour traffic. According to internet comments, the tunnel is notorious for traffic jams during busy times. According to interviews on iPhone.com, a witness was near the tunnel at around 3 p.m. in local time in the afternoon, and that's when the flooding started to happen. Here's the big problem. We know, and we now have videos suggesting that many tried to escape the tunnel portion, abandoning their vehicles to get to safety. As the water level rises, we could only imagine what was happening to the vehicles inside the tunnel. It may be contrary to what the reporter said in the morning. The tunnels did not remain closed. It was opened back up during the day, for some reason, despite potentially knowing that a flood situation was coming. We don't know if this is the truth, as the middle portion of the tunnels are just regular roads, so we don't know where the cars are coming from. But if it is during rush hour, then the numbers of cars accessing the tunnels will be much higher than regular. And if the tunnels are not closed, then it is bound to be a disaster during a flood. Now, authorities have locked down the area already to continue to pump water out, but some filmed them carrying out white boxes, and it might be bodies in those boxes. This video seems to be taken during the flooding hours in the afternoon. The entire north tunnel seems to be filled to the top with water. Many in the video scrambling to leave their cars, but if we slow down the video, at 12 seconds, both directions had cars leaving the tunnel entrance to go back out. It seems this is also a 3-lane one-way, 6-lane total highway tunnel system. And from the video we've seen so far, at the 2-second mark, the cars closer to the tunnel entrance are fully submerged in water, just to show you how high the water level is. Same situation in the south tunnel. This video first shows the top view of the south tunnel entrance. We see the water level rising to at the opening of the tunnel entrance. Cars are floating. Then later in the same video, it shows the north entrance as well. Exact same situation. Which means there's a possibility that both tunnels, with 1.1 miles and 0.9 miles, both were completely flooded. And here comes the sad part. What if there were many cars stuck inside, or in between, couldn't get out, couldn't go in or come back out? So the exact numbers of cars inside of it, we still don't know. But by the next day, like I said, the government began their water pumping operation on the tunnel, and soon, as the water level went down, we see many more cars surfacing. Some say there were people in every car. Again, no way to confirm this. Another comment suggests multiple tunnels and at least one subway line was flooded. He worked at this Jingguan tunnel as a volunteer rescuer. He says the number of people stuck inside the tunnel is much more than those that made it out, potentially in the thousands. And according to this interview with someone who escaped the tunnel, he says those inside couldn't even make it out, and that the water rushed in very quickly. The policemen that didn't show up during the flood were quickly to dispatch during the water pumping time the next day, so now people aren't allowed to be near the tunnel. In this drone footage, at the 25-second mark, we can clearly see how the entire tunnel entrance is flooded. During the rush hours, some estimated that 700 cars could be going into the tunnel in one lane. With 6 lanes, that is around 4,000 cars. We don't know if they're still inside the tunnel. But the police are, like I said, already blocking the scene, so the official numbers may never be revealed. From the video yesterday by Radio Free Asia, it seems that it's possible that this flooding at 2 p.m. is already filling up the underground tunnels. At 22 seconds in this video, the water going inside the underground tunnel systems is very clear. Now some are already pointing fingers at the United States, the foreign forces at work, the imperialist Americans. They say that it is the Americans who are using weather-changing weapons against China. They even question what the US is sending to Taiwan. They think that Taiwan has weather weapons that can be developed and used to get heavy rainfall onto China. And that is it for tonight. Thanks so much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. Share the video with your friends on social media and follow us at Twitter, Parler, and Telegram. In any case we disappear from YouTube, you can find us at the following places. We also upload videos to YouMaker, and we have an email newsletter link for you to sign up to stay updated on this channel. Thanks once again for watching. Have a good night.